Good evening and thanks for joining us. Up first tonight, water. It may be Arizona's single most precious resource, and it's also an ongoing source of angst and anger within our state, especially if you happen to live in the small enclave of Rio Verde Foothills, which since its inception has depended on outside resources to bring water to its residents. You may remember not long ago, after years of warning, Scottsdale on January 1st followed through with its threat and cut off water to the area. Now, to be fair, this was not a surprise. Those folks knew this was coming. On the other hand, it has to be shocking to turn on your tap and not have anything come out. Since then, residents have been in panic mode, desperately searching for a new water source. Right now, they're trucking it in from cities like Apache Junction, and it's not cheap. And all the while, the Arizona Corporation Commission has been listening to alternative solutions. As we sit here tonight, that solution is most likely a company called EPCOR, which would supply the infrastructure and the water. It's a lesson in trickle-down water economics. Will Pitts puts all of the puzzle pieces together.
It has to pass. I still can't believe that we're here.
But John Hornewer and the rest of Rio Verde Foothills is here. John's the guy who drives an hour to fill up the truck so he can drive an hour back and provide water to Rio Verde Foothills. But he might not be driving that far forever. A long-term solution, since the city of Scottsdale cut off the community's access to water, is inching closer.
EPCOR is the only option for this community as far as I'm aware of.
The Arizona Corporation Commission held days of hearings over the last 2 weeks with EPCOR. EPCOR is a water utility company applying to be the permanent water supplier for Rio Verde Foothills. To do that, they'll have to build a new standpipe to fill up the trucks. They'll have to find the water, purify it for drinking, and put it in the pipe. They estimate that will cost between $6 and $10 million. That cost will get passed on to customers.
Before we applied, even, we made known that this was our estimate, only an estimate, but nonetheless, is a very realistic outcome. And we wanted everyone to know that before we even applied.
Unfortunately, the high costs are going to be felt for a long time, but it's still better than not having any water.
That rate, Hornewer says, is up in the air, but he's guessing about $500 a month for a typical family.
We're not going to be able to probably afford our water bill at the same time as our air conditioning bill in the summer.
Lee Harris is saving rainwater, reusing wastewater, showering at her local gym.
It really is being able to survive in a catastrophic situation.
But she says the cost is something she'll have to pay. There's no other option on the table.
All of us in Rio Verde Foothills have no choice but to surrender to the process and have whatever is offered to us, that be the only solution.
All other attempts to solve the water crisis in Rio Verde have failed. Negotiations with the county and the city of Scottsdale have broken down. Maricopa County voted down a water improvement district.
I am so in favor of it. Absolutely. Anything is better than what we have now. Anything.
The catch, if EPCOR is approved, their plan is 3 years down the road, at least.
All right, Will joins us now. These folks in Rio Verde Foothills are sort of on an island. Scottsdale turned off the spigot on January 1st. Are they even in play when you talk about the future of water in Rio Verde Foothills?
And as far as we know, no. They have their position. Scottsdale doesn't want to do business with a water utility. Maricopa County doesn't want to do business with Scottsdale, and that's basically going nowhere. Now, there have also been a couple of bills in the state legislature. Some have failed, some have stalled, but it's really going to take both sides working together to get anyone passed, and no one really knows, Mark, if that cooperation is there at all.
And what about the folks who live there? It seems like all they can do while waiting on their island is watch and wait and pay a lot of money.
And really, that's all they can do, pay a lot of money. They can conserve a lot of water, or they can pay whatever the demand is. And the most cooperation we're seeing right now is homeowners cooperating to figure out how they're going to survive the summer, Mark.